Have you been feeling hopeless? You are not alone. Hopelessness affects many people, whether they have cancer or not. What we do know is that a cancer diagnosis can evoke feelings of hopelessness in up to 50% of people with breast cancer. Up to half of the people who've had breast cancer have said, at some point, I feel hopeless. Hopelessness is a sense of being lost, of not seeing a way out of something, of not seeing yourself at the other side of an experience or an interruption in your life. The first thing we want to encourage you to know is you are not alone. There's nothing inherently wrong with you. You are not failing to feel gratitude. You are not failing in any way. So many things happen when you're diagnosed. You're wrenched away from your former life. You were really busy. And then all of a sudden your whole life is caught up in being a patient, while many times your other roles continue. You may feel really isolated. If other people around you haven't been through this, you can feel really alone, which can evoke a feeling of hopelessness. And even if other people have been through it, the fact that your experience is unique can actually make you feel a little more alone, because other people will say, well, this is what I did and it helped me. This is what I did. This is the treatment I got. And if that's not something that's being offered to you, you can actually feel even more isolated. There's a lot that happens to our body. The way our body has changed with whether we lose hair or we lose a breast or we look different in other ways because of other medications that we're on. There's this sense of life before and life after. And if you're on treatment that goes on for a year, when is the end in sight? And as you know, if you've finished treatment, even when the treatment is over, the healing isn't done. Many of you have written into us with really good prognosis. Ductal carcinoma in situ, saying that you feel hopeless because your body has changed, because your relationships have changed, because your social circle got smaller. Many of these messages make us feel that there's something wrong with us, that we've been abandoned or discarded, and there are a few other things that can make us feel more hopeless. The other thing that can make us feel hopeless is the sheer amount of information and the sheer massive task of the path before us. So it's one thing to hear you're going to get a lumpectomy or a mastectomy and that's it. It's another to hear you're going to get chemotherapy and targeted therapy, and then you're going to have surgery, and then you're going to have more chemotherapy, then you're going to have reconstruction and radiation therapy, and then endocrine therapy, and maybe you're staying on targeted therapy. It's no wonder that people feel hopeless. The other thing I want to mention, and it may not seem obvious at first, is that being sick with something serious like breast cancer can often echo things from earlier in our lives. So there may have been a time earlier when we were children or teenagers or young adults where we felt hopeless. And some of the things that happen with an illness and its treatment and the whole culture, if you will, of medical care is that we can be brought back into that previous event. We can also, if we've experienced this with a family member, start to feel that our path is laid out for it and it's not a path that we would have chosen. So all of those things can lead to a sense of hopelessness as well as many other things. When we go through a serious illness, we can have loss of our identity. Not only are we being asked to continue all those identities, all those roles, whether it's work or parenting, but the way in which those identities have shifted is hard to ignore. If we can't pick our children up from their after-school activities because we're getting chemotherapy, if we're taking time off work, there's a huge identity shift. We may have been, quote, the strong one, I'm putting that in quotes, and the person who ran the household, and now we have to let certain things go and let other people take care of us. A lot of you watching have been the caretakers in your families, including for your parents, even when you were young, your siblings, your colleagues, your friends, and to have it shift so that you're not able to do that is a major loss. So that can make us feel hopeless as our identity kind of trickles away. We've taken some solace in being the caregiver, functional or not, a role. There's a shift in how that happens. There are other things that happen in terms of something called future fade, We're not sure when the wedding will happen now. We're not sure when we're going to have children. So the future can look fuzzy. Now, truth be told, it's really an illusion that we can plan the future, right? So life is what happens when we're busy making other plans. But Cancer makes it really in your face that I may not be able to be in that wedding, or maybe this isn't the best time for me to travel for my own destination wedding, or I wanted to go see a friend and her family and now I can't go. Graduations, how will I feel? Will I be able to be the belle of the ball? Will I be the hostess with the mostess? So there's that future fade, there's that identity shift, if not loss, it's a shift. And then the other thing is being alone in a crowd. So medical treatment, things like hair loss, being with other people going through the same thing, it's still dehumanizing. There's something about being in a hospital gown when you're in the inpatient side, about losing your hair, that takes away our individuality. And if the place where we're getting our care is busy, it may feel like one after the other after the other. It may feel like we're just in a line, moving through like numbers. Even though that's not how your team sees you, it can certainly feel that way. So I'm hoping it makes sense why people might feel hopeless. Up to 50% of people feel hopeless when going through cancer treatment, and you can see all the myriad reasons why. So how do we cope with hopelessness? The first thing is to validate it, to actually name it. Maybe you haven't used the word hopeless, but to say, oh, I'm feeling hopeless. I don't have a clear sense of the future, and I'm not really looking forward to the future right now. Just to speak very kindly to yourself and name the emotion. You might also name anger or grief or isolation. The more you can put words to your feelings, the more you actually have some agency over them. They say you have to name it to tame it. You have to feel it to heal it. I don't know why all these things have to rhyme, but it makes them easier to remember. Other ways to deal with hopelessness are to let yourself feel it deeply and fully, and set a time limit. So let yourself indulge in all the, I have no hope, I don't have a future, I don't want to live into the future. Let yourself have those feelings, but do set a time limit. And then the time limit should be to design an action. And by the action, I mean, just set a proximal short-term goal. What is one thing you can do today to feel that you are a part of your life? What are 3 things you can do this week to feel engaged with the present, even if it's not the future? So all we really have is the present. If you can find something to bring you a little bit of joy, something you can celebrate a win, whether it's cleaning out the junk drawer or taking a long shower or putting on some makeup, if makeup is for you, anything where you can be focused on the present, not ignoring the hopelessness. Remember, you let yourself go there and feel it, but to focus on the present, that's again all we have, and even set up an action, something you can do. Now that something you can do could be to talk it out with a therapist, a good friend, a social worker at your practice, with your oncologist, with somebody in a support group, with somebody at your church or temple or mosque, your place of worship, and of course with professionals who are used to working with people who feel hopeless. I honestly think there's nobody on this earth who hasn't had feelings of hopelessness. The last thing that I think can be really helpful with hopelessness is to have some routine. As I mentioned at the top of this video, being diagnosed and whirling into treatment takes away your ability to have recurrent patterns. If you can, at the beginning of the week, say, this is a day where I know I'm going to be going to a doctor visit, or this is a day I know I'll be tired from treatment the day before, to find, even if you created that day, what's something that would help me feel connected with my former self, my true self? Is there a routine that I can follow from life before cancer that can help me reconnect with the deep roots of the life I've created? I've covered a lot in this video. I know this is really hard. If you want to know more about your treatment options and what to expect and the pros and cons of each as you embark upon or continue on this journey, I'd love to invite you to go to yerbba.com to get your personalized Yerbba report. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.